Hey there everybody, welcome back to Harvest Moon Animal Parade. Today is going to be the first video in, I guess, a married series I'm going to be doing. The first video is just going to be showing you things that change when you get married, who I married, why I married them, and just other things that I feel like talking about. So, I married the wizard, and if you can see above his head, his actual name is Gale. I still call him Wizard, so that's just a preference. But if you marry the witch, the wizard, the harvest king, or the harvest goddess, they all have names, and they only reveal their name to you, and you'll call them that from that point on. The first thing you'll probably notice, if you can hear the audio over my commentary, is that the music in your house changes, which I think is a really, really nice touch. It's a very, very nice melody, and it also changes in your coop and your barn as well, which I think is also just a really nice thing that they did. Kind of just signifying that your life has changed and things like that. With your husband or your wife, you have three options. You can talk to them, walk with them, or there's a help option. So talking to them is just basically talking to them like you would before you got married, and they say different things. So yeah. Oh, I guess I didn't really tell you the reason that I married the wizard. It's because I got all of these I got all the other bachelors married off with their rival, because I wanted to be able to upload all of the rival marriages and children as well. So that's why I decided to marry the wizard. Plus, I like the wizard. I think that he's really neat looking, and he's just very shy, and he likes to keep to himself, and I just think that he was a good choice. Plus, it'll be interesting to see how his children are, what they look like, and how they are. The second option is to walk. This is just like with an animal, you take them outside and they walk with you. So it's raining, but I'll show you what that looks like anyways. And the last option is help. With all of the bachelors and bachelorettes, minus the harvest king and the harvest goddess, when your husband or wife comes to live with you, you can get them to help you with chores. Each person is better at different chores. I'll link Fogie.com once again. There's a chart of which couple or which person does the job better, and this will also reflect on how your children do jobs when they grow up as well. There's pickup, weeds, so picking weeds, harvesting, so anything you have planted that's ready to be picked up, you can harvest those, brushing animals, milking your animals, taking eggs, mining, and then fishing. I usually get him to water because I'm pretty lazy and it's not too bad. There's things like milking and taking eggs that I don't really recommend, because you're going to end up having to go to your barn or your coop and taking out the milk and the eggs out of the shipping box anyways, because what your husband or your wife will do is they will just go and they will take the eggs and the milk and put them in the shipping box, whereas you could make them into mayonnaise or butter or cheese and have it for more money. That's why I usually choose to stick with things that don't really affect me overall. Weeding isn't going to affect me overall. With watering, he might miss something, so I still have to go check to make sure that he is watering all the stuff correctly. Harvesting doesn't take a whole day to do. He should be able to do that on his own. Brushing really isn't too bad. I can probably trust him with that. And mining and fishing are just something that you can do if you want him to make some extra money. Any help that you want your husband or wife to do has to be done in between the hours of 6 and 7 a.m. After 7 a.m. they won't help you at all, so just keep that in mind. And I guess I'm gonna go for a walk. So the green smiley face is just signifying that he will follow me when I leave my house. Now, I've never taken him out in the rain, so I don't know how he's going to feel about this, but he's basically going to follow you. I always love how it says that it's a walk, but it's basically you running and him following you, and it's the same with everybody. I always imagined you guys like holding hands and walking, but it's more of a running thing. But regardless, it's still spending time with your wife or your husband, so it does get their heart points up. You can still give them gifts, just like before. You can rub them using the Wiimote. There are lots of different tricks. to getting their heart points up. Heart points are important because depending on the amount of heart points you have will depend on when you guys can have children. So I'm gonna go inside again because it's raining. And for today, just to show you a good example, I'm going to get Wizard to help me brush my animals. So he's not too happy about it. You can see that it's not a chore he particularly likes doing because he has the little cross face, but regardless, he's still going to do it anyways. So if I come into my barn, you can see that Wizard's here and he has the brush in his hand. He's not exactly doing the brushing right now, but he will. Time's frozen in the barn, so I'm sure that if I came back at 7:30 or 8:30, he would actually get something done. But as you can see, as soon as you give him the command, he's going to help you out. And usually in between the hours of 6 and 7 as well, if you've given him a command and you're still in your house and you change your mind about something, then you can usually cancel and get him to do something else. So that's about it. On top of that, every single morning your husband or your wife will make you a lunch, and the lunch depends on how many heart points they have and how happy they are with you, and also their cooking level. Somebody like Chase will probably always give you a hearty or shining lunch just because he's a good cook naturally. So you can eat these to regain your stamina if you're going to go fishing or to the mine or whichever, or you can sell them. It's completely up to you. It's not like if you sell them, your husband or wife are going to get mad at you and lose hearts. It's nothing like that. So you get a lunch every morning, and your husband or wife will appear at the very top of your friends lists, and you'll see that the red hearts are over top of the pink hearts. So I have 14 hearts with Wizard, and hearts are important, like I said, because you can trigger certain events, and having children and things like that at a certain heart level. I want to say that at 13 hearts, and if I'm wrong, I'll put it in an annotation. At 13 hearts, you can talk about having children with normal bachelors and bachelorettes. So if I was married to Gil and he had 13 hearts, we could talk about having children. With the Witch and the Wizard, I want to say it's 14 hearts. So about now, I can probably talk to Gale about having children. And with the Harvest King and Harvest Goddess, it's 15 hearts. And at these heart levels, you and your husband or wife will consider having children. And I wanted to do this video before I decided to have children because I want to ask you guys a favor. But before I ask the favor, you do get a letter from Hamilton when you are about ready to have kids. So I'm pretty sure it's 14 because I just got the letter from Hamilton yesterday saying that I'm ready to have children. So you want a baby? Hey, how's married life been? I think it's about time you two consider having children. That's why I'm writing you this. You should first talk with your spouse about having children. Planning is really important, you know? The size of your house is key. You'll need more space and a room for your child. A level 3 home would do just fine. Good luck. I don't know how Hamilton knows all these things, but he does. And a level 3 house will have this room here, which is the room I'm standing in. And a level 4 house will have the upstairs. A level 4 house is definitely not necessary, but you know me, I just like to have everything completed. So when you have your house at level 3 and you have your husband or your wife at the right amount of hearts, you can then talk to your mate about having children. Now this is where you guys come in because you can actually choose the gender of your children, and I think that on my girl file I'm gonna have 2 boys, and on my boy file I'm gonna have 2 girls. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to leave me names for what you think would be good boys' names because I'm terrible with names. Please don't make it anything really just silly and inappropriate. I mean, there's a difference between funny and just downright not funny and just immature. So if you have names that you like for boys, it can be simple, it can be something complex, it can just be something that you think is a nice name. Leave them in the comment section below, and if I find a name I really like, then I'll probably use it because I don't really have an idea. And I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. I will be sure to do the event where I actually talk to Wizard about having kids, and the birth and everything like that for you. And then when my children come along, I will be sure to tell you guys the names I picked, who had told me the name and why I picked them. So I think that's about it for a marriage video, just to show you where I am with this file. And I don't think I missed anything, but if I do, I will be sure to include it the next time I do a video. I hope that you guys liked this very brief update, and if you have any more questions about marriage, having children, things like that, feel free to ask me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I will see you later.